G'day folks. My last video on non-immigrant visas raised a number of questions, so I thought that I would make this follow-up video and address those and try to explain in more detail exactly what it takes. Again, now this is pretty long, so just fully expect me to refer to my notes because I can't remember all of this. So first, to retire comfortably in Chiang Rai, there's a couple of baseline numbers I'd like you to think about. One is 25,000 US dollars in a savings account would be pretty good to have. The second number is that on a modest pension of $1,500 a month, a retired individual could live a pretty comfortable life. Even though many people move to Chiang Rai because they think it's cheap, it's still smart to have some savings for surprise expenses, and we know what they're like. Now let's talk about the process, requirements, and costs associated with getting a non-immigrant O visa. First, let me explain the difference between a non-O visa and a non-OA visa. Really, there's only two differences. An OA visa is issued when you apply for your non-immigrant visa in your home country, and it requires mandatory health insurance of US dollars 100,000. An O visa, if you enter Thailand, an O visa is issued if you enter Thailand on a tourist visa and apply to convert to a non-immigrant visa. The O visa has no mandatory health insurance. Okay, those two differences, clear. One has expensive health insurance, the other doesn't. $100,000 in health insurance is about 3,200,000 baht coverage. And now 3,200,000 baht will go a long, long way in a Thai hospital, and is far more than most people would ever need. You can get a policy for, say, 1,500,000 baht coverage and have adequate coverage for a lot less money. My recommendation, come on a tourist visa, if available a 2-month visa, then convert that visa to a 90-day non-immigrant visa, O visa, and buy a less expensive health insurance policy. I will compare some health insurance policies in a future video. So what's the visa conversion process? 1. Find a place to rent, because you can't open a Thai bank account unless you have a rent agreement. Step 2. Once you have a rent agreement, open up a bank account. Step 3. Transfer 800,000 baht into that Thai bank account. Step 4. When the money is in the bank, apply to convert your tourist visa to a non-immigrant O visa. Step 5. Wait 21 days. Well, that's immigration business days. Then go back to get your 90-day non-immigrant O visa. What are the requirements to get this visa? They're pretty simple. First, you need to have a TM7, that's the application form, and you will get that at the immigration office. I used to keep them, or Jen did, but every time we went, they had changed, so we don't bother anymore. We just get them when we get there. You'll need 2 copies of the front and back of your TM6, that's your arrival card. You'll need an application fee of 1,900 baht. You need your original passport, plus 2 copies of the photo page and every stamped page in your passport. You need 2 passport-size photos, that's 4 by 6 centimeters. And you need proof of the 800,000 baht in the bank. To do that, there are 2 things required. A letter from the bank manager, and he will say, you know, the money's in the account. And then 2 copies of your bank book showing the front page and the money in the bank. Then you need 2 copies of the first and last page of your rental agreement, 2 copies of the rental house blue book, 2 copies of the landlord's house blue book. And by the way, the blue book is it's a book, but basically what it does is it proves ownership. We have a green one for cars or motorcycles and blue ones for houses. Cars have another book. Anyway, and then you need 2 signed copies of your landlord's ID card. Okay, once that's all done, and we've gone through our 21 days and got your 90-day non-immigrant visa sorted out, the next step is to wait 60 days and then apply for your first 12-month extension. You'll need all of the same documents and application fee, with only one difference. This time the 800,000 baht has to have been sitting in your bank account for 2 months. And over the period of that 2 months, your balance can never have dropped below 800,000 baht. Okay, what about your second 12-month extension? This process is basically the same as the first. 1 month before your visa expires, you should file for an extension. To do that, you must establish that you meet the financial requirements. Now, the financial requirements change a little bit on this visa. This time you have 3 options for meeting those financial requirements. The first option is 800,000 baht in your Thai bank account for the 2 months previously. And again, during that 2 months, that number must never drop below 800,000 baht. The second option is to have an income of 65,000 baht minimum paid into your bank account per month from overseas. And 3 is only applicable to a retirement visa, but you can do a combination of income and pension if you prefer to do it that way. So the way that works, let's assume that your pension converts to 50,000 baht per month, which is 600,000 baht per year. Well, 50,000 monthly is not enough to qualify for a retirement visa. But if you also have 200,000 baht in the bank, you can combine the 2 amounts and qualify. So it works like this. You've got 600,000 from monthly deposits, so 50,000 baht a month, plus you've got 200,000 baht in the bank, and that makes it 800,000 baht. So you can use that method if you want. If you do use the income method to support your visa application, you'll need a 12-month statement from your bank. Now, be aware, plan ahead on this one because it takes the bank 7 days to get your statement back. Okay, now what are the requirements then for the extension? The same as before. You'll need your TM7 application. You need your application fee of 1,900 baht. You need your original passport and 2 copies of each page, including the photo page, each used page. 2 passport size photos, 4 by 6 centimeter, proof of 800,000 in the bank. And you need 2 things for that, a letter from the bank manager and 2 copies of your bank book. Or monthly deposits of 65,000 THB every month from abroad. You will need a 12-month bank statement and a letter from the bank manager. And finally, you have the combination method, which is cash in the bank and monthly deposits, of course. And to do that, you will need a couple of things from the bank. You'll need a 12-month bank statement. You'll need a letter from the bank manager, and that's about it. And now, what if you're married to a Thai? Well, if you're married to a Thai, all of the documents stay the same, basically. You've got a few more pages to fill out, but the financial requirements are 400,000 baht in the bank or an income of 40,000 baht per month. Now, with the marriage extension, the money is either monthly income or money in the bank. You cannot combine the two to make it work. Okay, there's another thing that you need to be aware of, and that's re-entry permits. If you leave the country during the term of your visa and want to return, you will need a one-time use re-entry permit, and that permit will cost you 1,000 baht, and you get it by going to the immigration office and telling them you want a re-entry permit and what you're doing, where you're going, and how long you're going to be gone. If you do leave the country and return and you don't have a re-entry permit, your visa will be cancelled and you'll be issued a tourist visa on arrival. That puts you right back to square one. Don't do it. If you're planning 3 or more trips during your visa term, I would encourage you to buy a multiple re-entry permit. That allows you to come in and out of the country as many times as you want. You can do it 12 times, you can do it 3 times. And I believe the last time I heard it cost about 3,000 baht. Okay, next, very important, 90-day reporting. Every foreigner in the country has to report to immigration every 90 days. It's not a big deal. You walk into the immigration office, you give them your passport, they do some paperwork, and they give you back a piece of paper telling you when to need to report again. Simple, right? Now you can do this report up to 15 days before or 7 days after the due date. So if the due date, for instance, is January the 20th, you can report on any day between January 5th and January 27th. If you report later than the 27th, you'll get a 4,000 baht fine. If you wish, there are agents who will do your 90-day reporting for you for 500 baht each time. If you leave the country and are not in Thailand on the day your 90-day report is due, don't worry. When you return to Thailand, your next report due date will be 90 days. 90 days after you re-enter the country. So put it in your calendar. If you're not sure where you want to live but need to open a bank account, you can rent a condo for a short term. Jen usually helps her clients to rent a condo for a month or two. A short-term condo rental is around $15,000 a month plus water and electric. Okay, let me take a minute to talk a little about Jen. Jen, as I've mentioned before, is my wife, but I strongly recommend that you have her help you to get settled in Chiang Rai. Jen is a long-term resident of Chiang Rai and has helped many people to get settled quickly and stress-free. Jen's service fees are pretty reasonable. If you arrive on a tourist visa, converting from a tourist visa is a two-step process. Well, it's actually 3 steps. Step 1, open a bank account. 2, convert your tourist visa to a non-immigrant visa. 3, 60 days later, apply for your 12-month retirement extension. The cost for opening a bank account, converting your tourist visa, and 60 days later applying for your 12-month extension, if you use Jen, is 10,000 baht. Believe me, it's 10,000 baht well. If you arrive on a 90-day non-immigrant visa, 30 days before the expiration date, Jen can help you in securing your retirement visa. The cost for this is 3,500 baht. Other services. Jen's fee for other services is 400 baht per hour with a minimum of 1 hour plus 7 baht per kilometre. These services include ensuring you get a fair price when buying a vehicle, applying for your driver's license, registering a car or motorbike, getting your SIM card, connecting the internet and cable, and learning the Thai language. Okay, I suppose this probably is going to raise more questions than I answered, but, well, I've got thick skin, go for it. In the meantime, I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified of all new videos as they're released. If you want to help the channel financially, click the link in the description to buy me a coffee.